Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. It's Monday as I record this, and over the weekend, there was a shooting in the Midwest, and things were reported in a specific fashion. So, there was a guy with arrest warrants out for violent crimes, and yes, sexual assault is a violent crime. You can say, no, it's not, but, there's a lot of excusing of domestic abuse right now, and because basically everyone on the left who gets arrested for violent action turns out to have a domestic abuse history. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I'll get back to that. So this guy's got a warrant out for a violent crime. He's not compliant with the police, but there's this very short video, very, very short video that gets released and goes viral because the people who are tweeting it, retweeting, sharing it are journalists, and they want it to go viral. And they're doing this fairly specifically. They're doing this with a caption, with a message. Okay, and the message is very, very polarizing. Okay, they literally assume racism. White cops shoot black man. They speak of it as if it is a racist execution. There's no context. It was he complying with the police, whatever. The police lost control of a situation that they should not have lost control of. There's no way that the police can be excused from the fact that they lost control of their situation. Okay? They did. But that's not racist. That's not here, there, anywhere. It's not even going to be an issue. But the racism was assumed. So we got riots. We're going to get more deaths. We've got more violence. And whose fault is it? So the media, let's go and start with social media and YouTube and Twitter and all of that. They are a cartel. Okay, they are a mercantile cartel. This isn't capitalism. This is cartel. And so they have decided kind of unanimously, like in a group, that certain videos can be watched and certain videos can't. They editorialize the content. They censor. And you can argue about libertarian philosophies about mega corporations having the right to do anything they want, all you want. Funny thing is, the actual libertarians aren't really arguing that one right now. Marxists are. But they operate as a cartel. They operate as a mercantile cartel. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again because there's no other way to describe it. Well, they've decided that if you have a video about a guy in Shasta County who's warning that if you keep hurting the economy, keep killing the small businesses, keep making people have to decide between gas, rent, and food for their kids, eventually they're not going to be compliant and they're going to fight back for their living rate. Well, that's banned. Okay? That's evil. I watched it. There was nothing threatening about it. It was a warning that if you keep pushing people to the limits of survival, they will respond. So that gets banned. But you can post a video with specifically insightful messages. So messages designed to incite violence and outrage. You can post this video and it goes everywhere. How does that work? Do they have responsibility for that? I'm a very staunch defender of free speech as an individual liberty. And freedom of the press historically means freedom to publish, freedom of the individual to publish, to operate a press. It's not a special class of journalists. But if it was a special class of journalists, what's their responsibility? Are they responsible for their actions? Do they get a special set of responsibilities to go with their special set of privileges? Well, the answer is no. In fact, much of the defenses of journalism as being special, according to the First Amendment, which is not historically accurate, is freedom from consequences, which, again, nonsensical, right? So they are inciting riots. You'd have to be brain dead. At this point in time, there's no way for a professional journalist to not know that the way they are reporting this incident is going to lead to violence. That's not possible. It's not plausible. I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure there's somebody out there who just can't see how anyone could ever get mad or whatever. The media literally defends violence on the left by claiming that the right-wingers incite it by making them mad. So it's not their fault. So they're making people mad. You know? This doesn't make sense. None of this really works. None of this works. So where is the responsibility? Is there a responsibility? You know, freedom of information, freedom to have access to all the information. Well, I don't, because corporations control as much as they can, and they increase their efforts constantly, what I can see and what I can hear. So they want to ban the information. There's a lot of information about alternative treatments for the coronavirus that have been scrubbed from the web. You can't get the results in Google. That's not freedom. It's certainly not freedom of speech. It's certainly not freedom for information. So what's going on? You know, I don't want to get into the David Icke conspiracy theory type territory, but something is not right with this. And do corporations have the ability to not be responsible? All of this is corporate, okay? You have the tech cartel controlling what you see and hear, what is acceptable. They will accept publishing a video that will incite violence if it's the violence that they're okay with, or if it's a message they're okay with. The news corporations, the media, it's all news corporations. It's all corporations top to bottom, okay? They don't seem to have any responsibility for their actions. They can say anything they want and any amount of violence can erupt and it doesn't matter. I can't incite a riot without going to court, being tried. Why can they? Why do they have special rights to incite violence to cause people to die? I really want to know the answer to this one. Freedom of speech, okay? I'm all about freedom of speech. We have always traditionally had certain limits to that freedom. Some of them were bad. Sedition. I don't like sedition laws. That was like the first thing we did to cancel out the First Amendment was sedition. All the way back like 1799, 1790, 1780. Did it make it past 1789? Might have been 1790. But right as the Constitution was ratified, we had sedition laws. We've come a long way since then, but we're coming back around to restricting speech. You know, I don't agree with the idea of restricting the individual's right to speak, to write, to publish, to get information. But corporations aren't individuals. Even corporate personhood doesn't accept that corporations are literally individuals, citizens, sovereign individuals. So, what are the limits? This is kind of a conversation, a question. We have to look at this. I am looking at things sideways. I have a tendency to do that, but this is a question. Do corporations that push promulgate operate in concert together as cartels to promote certain narratives and information, do they share any responsibility for the consequences of that information? Can you sue CNN for the Portland protests? Yes. I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't know how you structure the law, but kind of interesting. Freedom of speech for me is restricted. Freedom of speech for MSNBC is not. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to go. Stay sideways.